into where the T-72 can spot it. Ooh, missed ATGM from the BMD. They also take a lat shot to the side. They are tracked. T-72. Oh my gosh. Challenger just walked up into a fight and they are already burning. Lats coming in on one side. T-72 hitting it from the other side. The Challenger is destroyed. What's up, guys? We're back with some more Friday Night Fights. We have the British Armed Forces Mechanized Division against the Russian Airborne Forces Combined Arms, with plenty of armor spread between the two, all taking place on Belaya Random Advanced and Secure version 1. And since it is Random Advanced and Secure, teams will have to capture points to find the middle objective. However, the VDV will have a head start based on their first cap, whereas the British Armed Forces have to capture their second point before they know exactly where the middle cap will be, which for this particular layer ends up being Train Tunnel. And whoever holds Train Tunnel first certainly has an advantage. But I do generally expect this round to rely pretty heavily on armor fights given the options that both teams have. We're going to go ahead and jump in on the rollout, but first hit the subscribe button, leave a like, drop a comment down below, and let me know your thoughts on the match, and stay tuned for more information on the upcoming Friday Night Fights. So already you have the VDV setting up on the hill, getting established early. We've got at least one British, is that a transport? Yep. Transport wrapping around here just to the south. It doesn't look like they're going to run into anything immediately. They're actually cutting into the east. British appear to be playing more towards the middle of the map than Train Tunnel. Now, the one benefit some of these guys might find later is that if they start shifting over, they can potentially have some map control to wrap around. But right now, the VDV now controls the hill above Train Tunnel. Here comes the British Armed Forces to start applying pressure with scimitars. You've got 3 vehicles in total rolling up, slowly but surely. We've got one scimitar here, a bulldog rolling up. Well, we've already got probably our first real fight over here. BMD is facing some infantry here. So infantry for the British Armed Forces is now controlling this hill to some extent. The BMD-4s, yeah, it looks like they are going to bounce out of here. It's probably not ideal for them on that terrain. The British Armed Forces are going to have pretty solid map control towards the middle of the map. Again, little do they know, though, the point is actually going to the western side, which is going to throw this off a little bit because you have so much control by the VDV on the objective itself, especially on top. First point has been capped for VDV. Our 2 caps are now covered for British Armed Forces. BMD, I think, just took a shot right here. They are getting repped. Looks like they are tracked. Enemy contact to the southeast of the BMD. Ooh, just missed the second shot. Smoke should give them a little bit of cover. They need to rep that and try to get out of there. That is also tough terrain to deal with. Looks like they have a scimitar still sitting inside, British Armed Forces. They've got... Is that one of the warriors? Yep, one of the warriors hanging out on the exterior, covering the exterior. So they are able to kind of pick apart what they can of the VDV. British Armed Forces have not set down a HAB on this side of the map. I believe they set down one early near Nicola, realizing that that was not an objective. They have shifted their focus. You can see how all of that middle push has now disappeared, and they are setting up all around Train Tunnel, slowly but surely. You do have some British Armed Forces pushing up on this hill. Currently, it is 277 for VDV, 301 for British Armed Forces. That is just a cap difference, really. British Armed Forces with a big group of folks moving into the tree line here. It looks like they have set down a radio and are getting ready to place a HAB. They're going to have 2 HABs sort of stacked, 2 radios, between Industrial Yard and the next objective being Train Tunnel. HAB is set up, getting built very quickly. This may catch some of the VDV off guard, but it looks like the VDV have enough of a spread that they can actually see this coming if it does, as soon as they start to apply some pressure. Pushing through, they might be looking for one of these warriors still hanging out here. Let's see. It looks like the scimitar got knocked out, but the warrior is waiting on the bridge still. Through the smoke. The BMD is going to have to go all the way through the tunnel to probably be able to see that. I don't know if they want to do it. The warrior's still a tough cookie, man. And you're going frontal armor on it. It's not the most fun. to have to deal with. Oh, they are now attacking the Bulldog. It is engined. The Bulldog is basically just an APC. So now you can see the main infantry fight is going to be on this hill. Look at all the red that is going to have to meet some blue at the top. VDV have captured train tunnel, which is putting the VDV up to 304 to 294 in favor of VDV. Looks like you still have the British Armed Forces hanging out here on the eastern side of the objective, more so the northeast, and that's going to be a little bit problematic down the stretch because they can kind of pick apart behind the Russian airborne forces, cause a little bit of a problem. But you have the Sprut and the T-72 rolling out of Maine. Now, like I said, the Sprut is a really good sniper of a vehicle. Put in the right position, it can pick off stuff. If it gets on the hill above train tunnel, I think it could probably fend for itself for a little bit. You have a collection of warriors firing away. I'm curious to see if the Sprut and the tank come down here and deal with this warrior that is in the back line of VDV causing some problems. It's going to disrupt the VDV's control. They're going to start to get the feeling of being surrounded. As you can see, you have the red wave here starting to push over the hill, trying to apply some pressure. They're getting close to the map edge. Trying to find something that they can work with to start applying pressure because they need to take the top. If they take the top of the hill, they're more likely to be able to push down into the objective or at least hold the VDV back. I imagine they're guessing that the HAB is on top of the hill as well, which is possibly susceptible to a push. We've got one BMD still trying to cover the backside here to make sure that the infantry that was over in this tree line is not going to continue to disrupt. You do have some guys directly... some British Armed Forces folks trying to trickle in here on the eastern side of the objective. They're going to make some progress now. And this is probably the weaker side for the VDV to actually defend currently. They don't have as many bodies here. They can easily get inside the train tunnel if necessary. Currently 290 to 285. Very balanced. VDV has one more cap. The Sprut has taken up position nearby here. It may be looking for a spot to sit to try to just control an area. Or it's just looking for this vehicle. Looking for a warrior. And it is pushing. Full sprint. Oh, the warrior sees it, but the Sprut gets its shot off. Warrior dead. At this point, I'm very curious to see when this squad 8 starts to make a push into the objective, because they are right at the doorstep. They could potentially get a cap going. If they get close enough to that, they could proxy the HAB and help out the western side, but the western side seems to have been pretty much squashed. Now they're starting to get some folks up into position up here, retaking along the map edge, which is going to be somewhere around this area. You have a warrior there to support. Let's see. They're asking for a spot on the British tank, which is now here near Industrial Yard, slowly moving up, taking a little bit of a safe route on the far western side of the map. British Challenger is now moving up into the fight. Looks like they want to take the hill as well. T-72 is still sitting a little bit back behind train tunnel. Pretty safe spot for them. It looks like Squad 5 of the British Armed Forces has gotten back to Tire Factory onto the radio and HAB. The radio looks disabled but not bleeding. You have a bunch of armor responding. Oh no. So you have two British Armed Forces guys trying to attack this radio. They're hiding. Oh no, he's got eyes on. Now you have infantry responding to the calls about this radio. Looks like there's only one person remaining here. They just need to get rid of that radio. Squad 8 still holding the rocks. It looks like, for the most part, the VDV has been able to hold off this push. It is now 249 to 217 in favor of VDV. Still holding a pretty tight game here. No real big movement anywhere else on the map that I've noticed. It's just a little bit of a struggle on this hill, which is pretty much what tends to happen. Looks like some confusion around whether to remove it or not. You still have a guy hanging out in the HAB that they are, I think, unaware of. Oh, they don't know. You don't have to dig it back up. You can just delete it. Just dig it down and get rid of it. You do not have to dig it back up. That's a common misconception. Radios, if they are damaged and you just need to get rid of it, you just dig it straight down. Even if it's bleeding, you dig it straight down and get rid of it. It does not charge you the tickets. All right, let's check out the progression here on Train Tunnel. It is getting spicy. It looks like they've started to see that the cap is changing, but VDV is slowly getting into a position where they just are probably feeling almost surrounded. You have a group of folks pushing in here from the east-southeast. Looks like VDV is responding to that. You also have a pretty heavy push still in the western side, and I'm sure they're still trying to wrap around on the edge of the map to apply pressure. VDV thinks... The call is that they think that their British Armed Forces are burning tickets by trying to make this push happen. This may end up coming down to just a bunch of infantry kills, some vehicles, maybe one radio, because they're not really building a lot of FOBs at this point. There's 3 FOBs total on the map. Oh, you do have some VDV getting sneaky in the back line. It looks like these folks hear it happening. They hear the vehicle. The Challenger is indeed in the tunnel. Let's see its condition, because they're saying that they think it hit mines. And it looks like it did. It is double tracked, stuck down here in the tunnel currently. Now, the tough part of this is like you can shoot it from the front, but you're going to primarily hit armor. You can shoot it from the back, you can engine it, but they do have a warrior, or sorry, a scimitar watching its back. And you don't have a ton of room on the sides of the tank to get a decent shot off. But that tank will likely need to go back to repair station or main. I wonder if the T-72 is going to advance and try to push on the tank. I hear it, but it might not be quite fast enough. Yeah, the Challenger is already moving out of the tunnel, and the T-72 takes a shot. Because now there are some British Armed Forces actually backlining to cause a little bit of a problem behind the tank. Oh, did they just get stopped again? Challenger might be stopped again by a lat. It is tracked. 217 to 201. This is a very slow trickle currently. There's nothing really pushing the game in either direction. It is just a brawl around Train Tunnel. VDV is still holding it currently. It looks like they have been able to take down enough of the enemy team to prevent cap. The T-72 appears to be itching to get a shot on the Challenger, but they do not want to maybe overextend and cause a problem for themselves. The Challenger might live to see another day. They are getting out. Really damaged vehicle. That'll save British Armed Forces at least 15 tickets for the moment. Not to mention, the T-72 is taking some shots from, sounds like a lat shot. They're still dealing with a squad behind the T-72. I'm curious to see if they would go ahead and just advance with the Sprut help. Yep, looks like they're going to poke a little bit and see what they can find out here. No current view of the enemy Challenger. Enemy Challenger is going to be back at Industrial. But right now, if you don't get affected by some sort of infantry, you're in a decent spot to be able to pick off any vehicles moving up towards this bridge. Artillery now hitting the hab. That is a widespread for Arty. Gonna slow down the VDV. It looks like there's gonna be counter Arty directly after this, or at the same time hitting the British Armed Forces hab over here to the west northwest. And you've got a pile of names here, which is gonna be a mix, I think, of vehicles and infantry. One Arty complete, second Arty for the other team being VDV is about to hit the British Armed Forces hab. That might be beneficial because there are a lot of name tags in that area. 205 to 168. VDV has pulled a little bit more of a lead. There's no significant pressure anywhere else right now except for sort of behind train tunnel. Still a little bit of enough infantry to keep the VDV on their toes, watching behind them. Looks like the VDV did lose their hab on top of the hill of train tunnel. It needs to be rebuilt. Artie's now coming down on the British Armed Forces hab. That might be pretty productive. I don't know if it'll destroy the hab. It might. It is pretty small in its range. Hab survives. Artie didn't quite get there. It looks like they're saying they're going to kill the radio. There is a warrior serving as a cutoff for the VDV infantry. They can't move forward with that warrior hanging out up here. Oh, sneaky. Oh, stopping the radio being dismantled. One guy out here with a lat. Frag rocket takes that out. Ooh. Hat shot, I think, narrowly misses the tank over here. The T-72. So you have return fire happening. Where is the British tank at this point? The British NBT is sitting inside industrial yard. You do have one warrior leaving main, and you have one warrior on the hill. Someone is digging it. They may get away with getting rid of it based on their position on the opposite side of the little slope. They need an HE round on that rock. They might take him out. Don't know if they have the visibility to notice that. VDV looks to have taken most of the control over the objective itself, but they do have some British Armed Forces behind them, closing in on potentially the radio. They have successfully, British Armed Forces have successfully deleted their own radio so they don't lose tickets, but there are a lot of bodies over here. Let's see when this can get engaged here. Oh! Shot just narrowly misses the Challenger. Trying to suppress it. They now should know where the tank is, the Challenger, that is. Let's see how they're going to run it. I think the T-72 might hear it. T-72 is not yet reacting to it. In terms of just, like, actually repositioning. Oh, they have to know it's there, right? Oh, they're turning now. They're turning now. Challenger crest the hill. The T-72 is waiting. They're calling the tank. Tank confirms. Is the Challenger going to move into spot? Into where the T-72 can spot it? Ooh. Missed ATGM from the BMD. They also take a lat shot to the side. They are tracked. T-72. Oh my gosh. Challenger just walked up into a fight and they are already burning. Lats coming in on one side. T-72 hitting it from the other side. The Challenger is destroyed. Oh, we have a... Is that a scimitar or a warrior? Warrior rolling up behind the T-72 and the Sprut. Do they not hear it? Oh, I don't think they hear it. They're trying to get the T-72 up. The T-72 is tracked. The warrior just seems to be waiting. Surely the warrior hears the coax, but I assume that they know the odds of winning this fight might be a little tough for the warrior. There's no mark currently for it. Warrior is backing up. This is not the fight they want to have. The warrior's pushing? Oh no. Oh no. Why? Oh no. Warrior smokes to try to get away, but the tank can push that easily. The Sprut is there to help if necessary. Doesn't really need it. About 2 shots, maybe 3, that warrior will be destroyed. Warrior takes a shot. They're going to try to turn around and get out. It doesn't look like that shot engined them. They're going to have to run vehicle smoke, and a lot of it, the MBT for the VDV is pushing. It's going to be hard to see. They do see it. They get another shot off on it. The T-72 said, not today. Kills the Warrior on their way. RTB'd. I imagine the T-72 is going to back off now before pushing into some infantry. The VDV now have control, for the most part, still of train tunnel, but they are getting pressured actually on their radio. This was that infantry push we talked about before we went to the armor fights. Mortars are hitting around the radio, keeping the VDV from being able to repair it. It is currently bleeding. The radio is bleeding. That would be a loss of 20 tickets, but it's currently 177 to 99 in favor of the VDV. So this would drop them down to about 157 if this radio is indeed lost, which it's highly likely right now, unless you get just the right angle and get the shovel on it at the perfect time. But there's no one quite near it.
I'm on it.
This is the only fob that the VDV currently has active or had active. They're going to have to replace it. It is bled out. 20 ticket loss. It's now 157 and 95 in favor of the VDV. It looks like some of the VDV folks are going to start moving back towards train tunnel just to maintain. I'd imagine at this point they know they have a little bit of an advantage based on maybe the armor fights. Logi moving into train tunnel itself, maybe getting a sneaky radio just right on objective, and that is what they're going to do. Looks like their hab is going to be coming online underground now, so they don't have the threat of mortars to hit it. Hab will be up here momentarily. Now the round is going to get probably a little bit quiet. You're going to have the new hab coming up on train tunnel. You have some infantry for the VDV pushing towards industrial yard, but nothing that like heavy that would be maybe a really big threat to the objective itself or cap. Still have this push coming off of a rally on the north side of objective, keeping the VDV on their toes towards the north. Just making it difficult for the VDV to feel fully comfortable. But simultaneously, the British Armed Forces don't have anything on the south side to like really push the objective. So they're not looking to cap it as much as they might just try to harass and keep the VDV from really launching much of an attack on the industrial yard objective. You do have some VDV infantry being a nuisance down here off of a rally, pretty far from the objective itself. You do have some scattered infantry up here, keeping tabs on what might be a long flank play. It's now 129 to 73. So in that span, VDV have lost some tickets. You have a warrior still trying to protect industrial yard, keeping the VDV at bay as much as they can. Helicopter is feeding in for these mortar shots to continue to land around train tunnel or wherever they can spot some infantry. They're closing in slow but surely in this rally. This would squash any like backline attempt that's currently in play for the British Armed Forces. It's now 124 to 66. Still almost double the ticket difference, but it's still narrow. The rally is burned. The push burned the rally. That's going to slow down the attack from the north side, freeing up more of the VDV to focus on the objective. Let's see if British Armed Forces are going to launch any sort of counterattack or if they're just going to keep trying to whittle away at VDV. You have a nice spread of British Armed Forces, like basically just trying to make sure the VDV can't make a very significant push onto objective. But now you're seeing some VDV folks sneaking up. You have a BMD-4 actually trying to move up that gets a hat kit to the side, taking out its engine. Oh, no. They snag a limb on a tree. Oh. It looks like AT misses the follow-up shot. Other AT looks to have been killed by another vehicle back here. The Sprut. Both those AT are down. The friendly infantry is covering up the hill now. Ooh, BMD gets taken out by the Warrior. I just missed it. Warrior's going to back off now because the Sprut is advancing. That makes the ticket difference closer to about 47. Sprut pushes to the Warrior. The Warrior is not in a good position for this. It's going to be 3 shots necessary from the Sprut. Can they get the Sprut? Can this be a trade? Oh, it's getting close. Warrior dies. Sprut is on fire. T-72 advances to help the Sprut out. One Sprut crew member appears to be dead. Sprut is lost. 47 tickets for the British Armed Forces to 94 for the VDV. They are going to push the Bulldog. That's an easy fight for the T-72. If they can find it through the trees, which it might get revealed here in just a moment. They don't see it yet. Bulldog is laying low as it can. T-72 is not turning towards it. Is the gunner going to see it? The gunner sees it. T-72 takes their shot. That's an engine. Bulldog is not mobile at this point. Second shot is going to take a third one to finish it off. It is burning. The VDV armor has definitely taken a little bit of an advantage here. They were able to get rid of the Sprut, but they had to trade. It does look like they're now... This Warrior was just engaged with the NBT. NBT is just sitting here south of the train tunnel saying, come and fight me. Mortars coming in right on top of some infantry here. Wow. That is solid. Takes out 2 out of 4 infantry. Other 2 probably need a bandage. Right on this hill, just a slow infantry fight. A slow burn is now 69-1. It looks like the VDV will take this one. And that is it. So the VDV wins 69-0 against the British Armed Forces. Now, infantry kills were pretty close here, but you can see that the VDV did have a armor advantage, killing 12 vehicles to the British Armed Forces' 7. The match stayed relatively close, staying within 100 tickets, and you can see the slow progression over the course of the round on the timeline. So there's a 69 ticket difference in favor of VDV, and you can see the vehicle losses 50 tickets to 110 tickets. This round obviously played a little bit in favor of VDV, not from just the armor standpoint, but just knowing where mid-cap was. But overall, I think this was a pretty balanced round. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, stay tuned for more Friday Night Fights information and videos, and I'll catch you next time.